Good day. I'm Lateesha with Soul Spread Wisdom, and I am here with the week ahead. We want to take a look at what is happening each day from Sunday, August 9th through Saturday, August the 15th. Throughout this whole week and really the rest of this month, we are under the influence of Mars in the sign of Aries, making a square to Pluto. It will be exact this coming Thursday, meaning that the degrees will both stand at 23 degrees. But during this time, we will be feeling the frustration that comes along with Mars squaring Pluto. So the Mars is here in the sign of Aries, making the square to Pluto, which is here. So for us, this energy is bringing in a frustration as it relates to leadership. Wanting to be able to move forward and feeling like someone who is in power is stopping this from happening. Pluto has to do with power, those who are in positions of power. It has to do with where we feel empowered and where we feel that our power is either being taken away from us or we are giving our power away. So with Mars in the sign of Aries is about moving forward. Both of these energies, Aries and Capricorn, are cardinal energies, but they want things in a different way. Mars in Aries is fire and is about being impulsive and taking the lead and moving out and not being afraid to take the leap. Well, Pluto in Capricorn represents the traditional power structures that are around us. It represents the father, the patriarchy. Capricorn represents management and bosses and supervisors and this sort of energy. So with Mars making a square to Pluto, we all collectively are feeling that the things that we want to do, this fire, this impulse that we have to move out and make our desires, our dreams, our passions come to fruition, we feel the block of Pluto making this square in the sign of Capricorn. Jupiter is there as well. Jupiter expands whatever he touches. So Jupiter is at 19 degrees of Capricorn. He is in conjunction, meaning that he is close to Pluto, expanding Pluto's power, expanding this feeling of powerlessness that can be happening with Capricorn, where we are looking at government and the things that the government is doing to stop us from being able to move about the way that we want to. This is that square, that frustration that comes with the square. And so we are feeling that beginning this week, and for the next 3 weeks, we will be feeling that because Mars and Pluto will be close in degree in this square. So when Sunday comes in, there will be 2 degrees apart. We will be feeling that. Mars making this square to Jupiter, like I said, it's expanding that feeling that we are powerless, but it is also bringing a frustration in about how we thought we would be able to move at this time. I thought by now I would be able to have my own business. I thought by now I would have a better relationship. I thought by now I would have accomplished more of my goals and dreams. And Jupiter making the square can make us feel like lofty, dreamy, outer space, because Jupiter is this really spiritual planet. So Jupiter can have us feeling that we, um, what it is. It doesn't matter about the power and control. It doesn't matter what they're saying. I'm going to do whatever I want to do. But when we have this square and when it comes exact, we could be looking at issues of power and control with the police. That could be costly if we are not wise. And we know we've had a lot of riots. We've had so many things that have been happening around the world. And this square is going to make it even hotter, make it even more passionate. So we have the sun in the sign of Leo. This is Sunday. We're still talking about Sundays. The sun in the sign of Leo at 17 degrees, making a trine to Mars in Aries at 21 degrees. So this sun, so we're talking about two fire signs, and we're talking about two fire planets. Well, the sun is not a planet, but for lack of a better word. So the sun is a bright luminary and the hottest, and Mars is red hot fire in the sign of Aries. Sun is in his own sign of Leo. Mars is in his own sign of Aries. This is helping to move forward. It is helping to bring clarity of sight. The sun represents what we see in our conscious mind. In the sign of Leo, it is about taking leadership of our own desires, of our own goals, of our own dreams. Mars is in shadow right now. He will be going retrograde September 9th. So when a planet is in a shadow stage, it is slowing down. It doesn't have the full force of moving ahead as he normally would. That's Mars in Aries. But it is still helping the situation. So what does it mean? There is some movement that can be made towards your dreams and goals. It has to be plotted strategically. It has to be where the sun is illuminating the situation. The sun is bringing the truth to what is, where Jupiter may be expanding a dreaminess of it. The sun is bringing the actuality of the situation. The situation is such that I have this amount of money, and if I plot and plan, well, I may need to pay off this bill right now so that 2 months from now when Mars is retrograde, I won't have that particular bill to be looking at every month. This is taking some place, some part of leadership in your own life. Yes, the square is happening with Pluto in the sign of Capricorn as it relates to government and what they are doing and inhibiting our actions. But the sun in Leo is saying to you, to us, you can take leadership. It has to be strategic. We're on your side. You have the sight. You have the vision. You just have to move forward while we can before September 9th when it goes absolutely retrograde. Okay, this is the window that we have right now to prepare for Mars retrograde. Okay, we have Venus in the sign of Cancer at 1 degree, which is really nice because Venus has been in the sign of Gemini since May. She was moving forward, went retrograde, came back again through the sign of Gemini. And Gemini is an air sign, which is about duality. And Venus doesn't do her best there. But she, in the sign of Cancer, is another feminine energy. She flows really well there, helps us get in touch with our emotions, what we're really feeling, helps us be able to express our emotions, where in Gemini it's not about emotions, everything is in the head. So with Venus in the sign of Cancer at 1 degree is bringing in this new energy of being able to tap into what it is that you really desire, what you want to feel, being able to reach back to the family, being able to gather around those that are close to you, your family members, receive love from them, receive kindness and nurturing from your family members, where it's not in the head, but it's a part of the heart. It's a part of the deepest part of who you are, this familiar place that feels safe. Cancer is about feeling safe. And Venus in Cancer, through the 3 weeks that she is there, is going to help us feel this safety and nurturing, even though all of the other challenging energies might be going on. Jupiter is at 19 degrees of Capricorn, as we said before, but also making a sextile, which is an easy aspect, to Neptune at 20 degrees of Pisces. So the sextile, so here is Jupiter right here in the sign of Capricorn, and then here is Pluto right here in the sign of Pisces. So with this, we have mad creativity that is here for us because Jupiter is the original ruler of the sign of Pisces. And then Neptune is a more modern ruler. So these energies are very similar. Spiritual, able to hope for the best, able to see the best, able to believe for the best. And Jupiter in the sign of Capricorn is about bringing manifestation in to what it is that you are dreaming about. There is some work that has to be had with the sextile. The sextile energy, unlike the trine energy is just there. If you realize it is there, you can work with it. The sextile energy, you have to put in some action to it. So again, this goes back to what we talked about here with the sun in Leo, trine in Mars. If you have a dream, if you have a goal, and you even just get to some kind of a place of meditation or sitting quietly, you can tap in and hear from the ethers which way it is that you can go, what dream, how can you manifest, how can you make money, how can you heal, a wound, maybe physical, maybe spiritual, how can you bring healing to a situation, how can you bring yourself into leadership, how can you tap in if you are an artist and make your art work for you in a way where you are bringing in some finances, making the dream tangible. Okay? So that is what we have for Sunday, August 9th. Now we move on to the next day, which is Monday, August 10th. We have the moon at 7 degrees of Taurus, making a conjunction right here with Uranus. The moon is at 7 degrees and Uranus is at 10 degrees. And this is pretty significant because the moon represents how we feel safe, how we feel stable, how we feel most comfortable. So with the moon making this conjunction to Uranus, Uranus is all about sudden change, all about the unknown, all about the unexpected. And so the moon normally loves to be in the sign of Taurus because Taurus is even killed. There's no movement, not normally, there's just a steady flow. But now that Uranus is there and will be there for about the next 5 years or so, the moon is going to constantly keep coming up to Uranus in this sign every time she transits the sign of Taurus. So on this day, there could be this feeling of anxiety, this feeling, because Uranus can move through, especially in the sign of Taurus, move through your physical body where it's feeling panicky, where you're feeling antsy, where you are feeling, just electrically charged, on overload. Your senses are on overload. This could be a feeling that you are experiencing on Monday. So the best thing for that is to just get quiet, do some meditation, maybe drink some calming teas, something soothing like that to the system, something peaceful music. Oftentimes I listen to at night just the sound of the ocean and rain and that sort of thing to help me stay calm with this Mars. And I say this because Uranus at 10 degrees is making a conjunction to my Mercury and my Sun right now. My Sun is at 16 degrees of Taurus, and my Mercury is at 13 degrees of Taurus. So I'm feeling it right now. Not to mention the opposition to my moon. So that's what we have going on Monday. Okay, on Tuesday, August 11th, we have the sun at 19 degrees in Leo, making a square to the moon at 19 degrees of Taurus. And this is a frustrating energy, to say the least. We have the sun, the brightest luminary, representing the conscious mind, the moon representing the subconscious mind, where we want to feel safe, where we want to have peace. So there is something that is jarring, something coming into reality, something um, coming into light about where we thought, we would be able to perform, where we thought that everything, where I put my trust, in the place that I could be able to be still and rest and find safety. And coming to the conscious mind is this realization that there is a challenge to that. This could show up. It depends on where it is in your chart, but the sun representing the father, the moon representing the mother. This is something that could show up in that way, in this challenging aspect, as far as they may be having some issues or some quarreling going on, or it could be your boss. It could be a feeling with your boss and where you wanted to shine, and your boss is saying to you, no, we're not doing any promotions right now. As a matter of fact, we may be downsizing the department. So where the moon thought that there was going to be this stable safety and I could relax here, now there is this jarring that is coming in, because, I thought I would be able to perform in this way, Leo, only to find out that these changes are going on, the moon, secretly, in a way that I didn't know that they were happening. Okay. So then we also have the sun in Leo making a trine to Mars, and the sun, let's see what's going on. In Taurus, we have the sun in Leo making a trine to Mars in Aries. I had a typo right here. Making a trine to Mars in the sign of Aries. Let me fix this. Okay, please forgive me. This is Mars at 22 degrees in the sign of Aries, not Taurus, because Taurus squares Leo. So this is a trine happening here with Mars. So again, we talked about this earlier in the week, and here we are again with this trine. So it softens up this square. So just when you thought, oh my God, what is happening? I thought that there was some stability going on, and then you get this shocking news from someone who is in authority, only to find out that there is a way, that the universe has provided a way for you to be able to move forward, for a plan that you didn't even know was in the works, for you to be able to take action and save yourself, bring the boat to yourself, to get on and move your life forward. Jupiter at 19 degrees in the sign of Capricorn is trining the moon at 19 degrees of Taurus, which is really nice. So the moon, Jupiter loves the moon loves Jupiter. So Jupiter in the sign of Capricorn, we have this earth here. So even though we had this square, again, this is what I love about the universe, that, here's a challenging aspect, but then we have two more easy aspects to help us along the way. So the universe is saying there is a change that needs to happen. There is a change that needs to happen in the leadership. There is a change in how you have seen yourself as a leader. It is necessary that this change happens. And then here is support here for you with the sun and Mars in fire, and then Jupiter and the moon in earth. So there is an easing that is happening at the same time, where you hear within yourself, oh my God, this happened, but then that small still voice says to you, it's going to be okay. You know what we can do? We can do X and Y and Z. I know that happened over there, but there is a plan. There is a way out. So that is this type of energy that is happening for us on Tuesday. The frustration coming in from the square, but then a knowing how to move, a knowing how to move, and then an ease and a rest coming in that is very grounded, that is very earthy, that is very solid with the moon and Jupiter in earth. Okay? So that is Tuesday. Okay, Wednesday, August 12th. Just one thing that changed, that stood out, and that is the moon at 1 degree of Gemini. So the moon in Gemini is now in air. So the moon doesn't necessarily like to be in air because the moon is feeling, but with the moon in Gemini, the mind is thinking quickly. You're not too emotional. You have Venus in the sign of Cancer. That's bringing in the emotion in a nice way. The moon, the emotions are not, all over the place. We are thinking more analytically. We're thinking more logically. That's Gemini. We're thinking logically about next steps to take. Okay? So that is what we have on Wednesday, August. Here we are on the day of the actual exact square between Mars in the sign of Aries and Pluto in Capricorn. So this is Thursday, August 13th. So Mars is here, and they're both at 23 degrees. So this is a week where we really, really need to be careful in what we are saying, because again, Mars represents the action that you want to take. Pluto represents government, authority, power. Mars can also represent, the police officers, but there is a clash that is waiting to happen. There is a spark that is ready to go off. So it would be wise for all of us to take the step back. And if it's somebody that they work your nerves, it might be the better time to get quiet, step back, not have the conversation, not this week, not this week, because all of this energy, power struggles, and it could become physical. This could become physical real easily, really easily. This could become physical in a way that you would have never thought that it would happen. So it would be best to go to the other room. It would be best to let this one go. You know, that part that's like, I always need to be right. That part that's like, I'm gonna say the last word. That part that's like, I'm not gonna let anybody tell me what's what. This is not the week, because it could turn so bad, so quickly, so ugly. Sun, always something to help. Sun, 21 degrees of Leo, trining Mars at 23 degrees in Aries, to soften it up. Again, here is this energy to soften up this strong energy of Mars Pluto. But Pluto is stronger than the Sun and stronger than Mars. So ultimately, again, just, it's not worth the argument. Not this week. It's not worth the argument. Okay, so that is Thursday, August 13th. Okay, Friday, August 14th. We have the Sun at 22 degrees of Leo, making a sextile to the moon in Gemini. Here's the Sun in Leo, making a sextile to the moon at 26 degrees of Gemini. This is an easy energy. This is one where the Sun in fire, the moon in Gemini, where the mind and what you see, the emotions and the subconscious are working together. There is an ease that happens. What you feel what you feel about what you are seeing, and your ego and the way that you express yourself in the world are simpatico. They are able to operate well together on this day. If you are wanting to, this is an opportunity for you to share your thoughts and speak your truth. This is an energy of speaking your truth, and where it will go well if you share your truth and speak it to someone. The challenging aspect that's happening on Friday, August the 14th, is that Chiron at 8 degrees retrograde in Aries is making a square to Venus at 6 degrees of Cancer. So Chiron is the wounded healer. So this could trigger, that the family issues when you were a little girl, a little boy. Something being said, something being done on this day or around this time, and for a few days after that as well, because Venus is going to, in a few days, come exact with that Chiron at 8 degrees, and I'll talk about that next week. But this is an energy where you could, somebody says something to you that really hurts your feelings about your childhood, and triggers that part of you that may not have felt good enough. That is something that could happen here. But again, this is that, it's all tied up to that Mars square Pluto. All this is tied up, and you could be triggered to say something that you would later regret. So this still too is a time to just let it be, to just let it go. Go to Disney Plus, watch some cartoons, take a nap, meditate, take a walk in the park, do something so that you won't regret what it is that you have said because of these triggering energies that are going on in the sky. Okay? And that is Friday, August 14th. Now to Saturday, August the 15th. And Uranus stations retrograde at 10 degrees of Taurus until January of 2021. Uranus is going to go all the way back to 6 degrees of Taurus, and going back over the areas that he has already crossed. So with Uranus going retrograde, is going to meet up again with those, the energies, making squares to those energies of Scorpio later on in the year, making squares to Leo energy, making squares to all of the fixed signs that are going on. And so we have those issues that will play out, with Uranus making this way back. As I said in a previous video, Uranus is in Earth, and Uranus is waking us up about the things of the Earth, about the ways that the indigenous people have been mistreated for centuries. That is what this retrograde is, because Uranus is bringing the light. Uranus is bringing the truth, the absolute truth of the situation. And so Uranus, as he is retrograding back and forward, moving through Taurus, he is shaking up, digging up the fallow ground, that which is hard, that which has been set in stone, that this is the way it is, and this is how we treat the earth, and this is how we treat the earth's people, and this is how we treat indigenous people. And this retrograde and meeting up with the energies of Pluto, making trines, but then it'll be making in Saturn, making trines right now, because Capricorn, Saturn, and Pluto, and Jupiter, and Earth. But when they go over into Aquarius, there will be these major squares. And it's going to be about freedom. And it always has been about freedom and truth. That's what Uranus is about. So where, even now, as there have been these issues of power and control, Uranus is bringing the light and breaking it up and questioning what it is that we have called normal. The activities, the way that we have seen the world and ourselves in it. Uranus is the wake-up call. Again, it's an outer planet, hugely powerful, earth changing, shattering of the deceptions that we have been experiencing. And so there is Uranus is going retrograde. Okay, and so that is it for this, and I am going to go into the signs next and talk about what you can expect with Mars and Pluto in your sign. Okay, so thank you so much for making it all the way through the weekly intro. So now we're going to start with the sign of Aries. And what is it that you can expect with the Mars square Pluto energy happening for you throughout this week and the remainder of August? So Mars is in your home sign, in your first house. So we're talking Aries sun, moon, and rising, but mostly the rising sign and the sun are the ones that will stick out the most. Sometimes the moon. It just depends on what time you were born. If you were a person born at night, and mostly females, the moon will stand out the most for you. But Aries sun, moon, rising, Mars is in your sign, in your first house of your body, of yourself. So a way that you want to move, a way that you want to take your life is being challenged by authority figures in your career. Um, Again, this could be government. It could be uh, a father figure that is standing and putting their power on top of the way that you want to move. So this could be playing out and be triggering for you with your boss. Your boss, could be telling you when to come and when to go, and that part of Mars in you, that fire that's in you, does not want to be told what to do. It's impulsive. It wants to come and go when it wants to. So you want to be careful that you don't say something or do something that you might regret with an authority figure right now, with a boss, um, as it relates to your career right now. Something that is just impulsive that you didn't think about, but because of the heat of the moment, something that was said to you, you did something out of anger that you might regret. Okay, so that is how this can play out for you, Aries. And then for Tauruses, this is happening in your 12th house and in your 9th house. So this is about what it is that you believe. When Mars is transiting your 12th house, for my Taurus rising sun moon people, when Mars is transiting your 12th house, you could find that it's difficult for you to sleep. There is so much frustration that could be happening for you, on the subconscious level, on the spiritual level. That's what the 12th house has to do with. It has to do with what you believe spiritually, how you see God in the spirit realm. And so here is this challenge coming in with Mars, with Pluto in this area for you. So Pluto is challenging religious beliefs. There can be, because Pluto is there, so hire the people who are teaching you. If you are in college, if you are at the university, then there could be a challenge for you as it relates to um, those people who are telling you what your grade should be. They are telling you when to turn the paperwork in, when you need to have the test completed. And you are explaining to them, that I can't do it right now because you haven't had the time to finish out the project, or you just don't, and it could be the frustration of not being able to sleep, honestly, not being able to sleep. And when you cannot sleep, then it causes you not to be able to think and do what it is to the best of your ability that you normally would be able to do. If you have legal issues, this could show up for you. That could be some legal issues about your past that pop up, things that you thought were over and done with, and you get a letter in the mail about something that happened for you legally years ago that you thought was said and done, but then there is a requirement for you to show up at court, okay? Because the ninth house has to do with legal issues. The 12th house has to do with, places of confinement, jail, asylums, and places like that, places of isolation. So there could be a frustration that is happening in that area for you. Then when we go to Gemini, then we have this happening for you in the 11th and the 8th house. So this has to do with groups of people, Gemini, that you may find yourself hanging out with, groups that you belong to, and money and resources and loans. So you may have someone who is in a group that you hang out with, and they are asking you for money, and they are asking you to help them with financial things. And, with this square, it may not turn out the best. It could be somebody saying to you, you owe me. So you got a loan from a friend, and they are calling you out and saying, you owe me, where is my money? And you may say, I don't have it right now. We're going through the pandemic. I lost my job, and here is this friend that's a part of the group, a part of the church that you've been in, and they're saying, I don't care. I need my money. What is going on? So it could turn into a situation like that. It could be, you're part of a sorority or fraternity, and they are saying, where are your dues? Again, you're saying, I don't have it because, I don't have the money and so forth. It could be an issue of someone that you got involved with sexually, 8th house. You got involved with someone sexually. It was a part of the group that you are a part of. And maybe some things are made public about it. And it's very frustrating, and ready to come to blows about the situation, as it were. Okay, that could be a situation that's happening for you, Gemini. Um, your spouse. Your spouse could be having issues. 8th house, your spouse could be having money issues as it relates to a group that he is a part of. Okay? So it could come in a way like that. Or if you're a part of a group, Gemini, who 8th house has to do with the occult, and you are a part of a group, a part of a coven, a witch's coven. And so this group you are a part of, there are some power and control issues that are in the group that show up. And it could be, where you come to words, you come to terms, somebody, maybe the person who is running the coven or something like that. comes in. I say coven, and I know people are probably like, what? But, you know, it is a thing. It's a real thing that is happening in the world. And, you know, you could come to blows with the leader of the coven or someone in that group. Okay? All right, so let's move on to Cancer. So for Cancer, this is happening for you in the 10th house. Mars is in your 10th house, and Pluto is in your 7th house. So we are talking about a squaring off with someone that you have partnered with, and your area of career. So you could have um, someone who you have signed a contract with, you're doing business with, you're an independent contractor, and you have signed a contract with this boss or this company, and they have agreed to pay you this amount of money, or they have agreed to allow you to work on this day or that day. And as it turns out, what they said, they didn't keep their word, or they are trying to press you to show up and do more than what you have contracted to do. It could show up in that way. It could show up in even, it could show up even in as your spouse, because 7th house is a marriage partner. So your marriage partner could be having issues with his or her a boss or a superior. There could be issues happening in that area for them. But it is here to challenge this idea of partnership, and where you are in power, and are you giving away your power to others for the sake of career or the sake of a marriage. So it could show up in that way. And then we have Leo. So for Leo, this is going to show up in your 9th house. Mars is in your 9th house, and your 6th house, your 9th and 6th house. So for you, this has to do with, it could be legal issues tied to your daily activity, what it is that you believe in. If you have a religious association, challenging your things that deal with your health, as it were. So your beliefs can be challenging, maybe old beliefs could be challenging what it is that you are doing daily, as far as how you eat or how you exercise, could be challenging that. So Pluto is about transformation. So a transformation happening for you, with what you believe and how you eat and how you walk and how you take care of your body, take care of your health. And a new way of believing is being birthed out of this frustration, and taking action in how you are treating your body is going to yield to the best, because it could lead to challenges. Like, you know, if you were raised to believe that you can eat whatever you want to eat, whenever you want to eat, you eating, you know, pork and all this stuff, and, you know, you're 50 years old, and you got high blood pressure and sugar diabetes, and if what you believe does not change, it could lead to more health issues. You know, this is how this works out. And so Pluto is there bringing a transformation to what it is that you are doing on your daily life, on your daily habits. Also, it has to do with if you are a boss, the people who work under you could be challenging you, could be challenging what it is that you believe that authority should be. Are you mistreating people in the name of power and control? Are you putting your thumb on people's necks in the name of power and control? Because Leo is a sign of leadership, needs to be the leader. So when you have people who are working for you, sixth house, what you believe about leadership could cause you to be putting your finger on somebody's neck and mistreating them and causing people to walk away. People who work for you, causing them to walk away because there is frustration in how it is that you are treating people and treating your employees and the people who serve you. Okay? Then we have Virgo. So we're going to have 8th house and the 5th house for you. So we're going to have, for Virgo, we're going to have Mars in your 8th house, and we are going to have Capricorn in your 5th house. So this has to do with resources and children. If you're a person who has children, if you're a person who has children, we're talking about your child trying to go to school and getting approved for the loan so that they can have their college paid for. This is the type of thing that could show up. And then there is a challenge, and the loan officer or the school is saying, we need more documentation. We need more tax forms, 8th house tax forms. We need the tax forms to show us that your daughter, your son can be approved for the loans or the grants that we are offering, 8th house. Or you could find, Virgo, that a romantic partner, 5th house, that you are sexually involved with, that there are some challenges, power and control as it relates to sex. You know, sometimes you can meet somebody and you're in a relationship and they can use sex, they can weaponize sex. You know, they can make sex something that is not this loving and enjoyable thing, but it is a way of yielding power and control. You know, so even, I hate to say it, but it's real life, something that's being forced, you know, something being forced sexually, taking away your power, somebody you are dating, 5th house. Somebody that you are dating and they are trying to manipulate you for your resources, power and control over your resources, somebody you're dating, 5th house. It could show up like that. Okay, Libra. So we're going to have 7th house and 4th house. So you're going to have Mars, Libra. You're going to have Mars in your 7th house and Capricorn in Pluto in your 4th house, Libra. So we are talking about home, 4th house, power and control, issues of manipulation that are coming from your home area to business, partnerships, marriages. So you could come into a situation where your family does not like the person that you are in a committed, bonded relationship with. And your family is challenging this relationship, speaking ill of your partner, speaking ill of the work that you are contracted to do, telling you shouldn't be doing that, you know, it's beneath you, and challenging you in that way. Tug of war in this area. With Mars in your 7th house, you could be having issues with your partner. It's in opposition to yourself, Libra. So you could be having issues just with other people, and anger and frustration and competitiveness. Okay. And then it's showing up in the home area, or even from your mother or mothering energy of this power and control dynamic taking place. There could be an issue if you are buying a house. You're supposed to close on the house during this time. And you sign the contract, but there is an issue. They come back and they say, oh, we didn't realize that there was something wrong uh, with, the ground, or there was somebody else involved who owned it. So we may need more money, or we need more time, or we're not sure if we're going to be able to close on it. It could show up in that way. We're not sure that we're going to be able to close on the date. So there is a level of frustration, but power and control and power, and you feeling powerless in the situation about moving into this home. Okay? Or if you have a home business, same thing. You have these clients, seventh house, who are challenging you, and there's frustration and anger, and the client is saying, you were supposed to do X, and you said you would have it by this date, and you don't have it by this date, and I don't know why you don't have it. And then there is frustration, and they're saying, well, I want my money back, and so forth and so on. It could be happening in that way for you, Libra. Then we go over to Scorpio. So we're going to go sixth house and third house. So we have Mars in your sixth house, Scorpio, and we have Pluto in your third house of communication and short distance travel. So this is Mars is your daily activity. Aries is your daily activity in the sixth house. So your daily activity, there is some frustration there. There is some anger there. There is some contention with your daily routine, probably people that you are at work with. If you work on a traditional job, there is a frustration that is there with these people that you work with. Anger. People are into it, having words, sharing words, back and forth, frustration. Third house, communication, power and control. This for you could be your community in which you live. If you are a part of the neighborhood association for the betterment of the housing, what is it called? The housing association for your neighborhood. You could be meeting with these people and going to the meeting about, the different things that you want to bring in. And there is power and control issues there at this particular association, or with your cousins and siblings. It could show up in that way, where there are power issues between you and your siblings going back and forth, and something that you want to do with them on a daily basis, trying to get a plan together and say, hey, let's work on this. Let's walk together. Let's walk together every morning. Well, you got one sibling that's saying, no, I don't want to walk at 6 o'clock in the morning. I want to walk at 8 o'clock, and you come back and say it's too hot to walk at 8 o'clock in the morning. That's too late. I need to be at work by this time. So there is just contention and frustration in this area. The sixth house also has to do with health, as I said earlier. So with Mars there, you have to be careful about what you are doing on a daily basis, because Mars can lead to accidents, especially with this square to Pluto, with frustration and doing something impulsively, and you end up hurting yourself. Okay, so that's something you need to look out for, Scorpio. And then we move on to Sagittarius. So then we're going to go to the fifth house and the second house. So the fifth house is going to be in the sign of Aries, and the second house is going to be in Capricorn. So Mars is in the fifth house, having to do with the children or someone that you're dating or entrepreneurship. And Pluto is in the second house of the income that you earn, Sagittarius. So we are looking at a situation where the income that you are bringing in, perhaps your child, you may be in a situation where you get sent papers for child support. Now you have to start paying child support. You didn't know that you were going to be placed on child support. And you might be in contention about the amount that they are asking you to pay. Fifth house and the money that you earn. Okay, so that is a situation that could be happening. Or your child, you realize that more of your income needs to go to your child's education. School is about to start, so they need, if school is opening up, we don't know. But they need more money for uniforms, or they need more money for the online schooling that they have to have, or the books, so it's affecting your income, second house. Or you're dating someone, fifth house, and it's looking good, but there is a contention between you. This person that you are dating wants you to spend more money. Why don't you take me out to eat? Why don't you spend money on me? Why don't you buy me dresses? Why don't you take me on a trip? Why don't you fly me to Costa Rica? This person that you are dating, Mars, Pluto, power and control issues happening with the person. And then we have, this is something that could be happening for you, Sagittarius. And then we go on to Capricorn. So Capricorn, we have this happening in your fourth and first house. So for you, Pluto is in your first house and Mars is in your fourth house. So you want to have power and control, Pluto. You want to run your own self and run your own body, and the decisions that you make, you want to be empowered, but you find that your home life that you have challenges that. Mars is there. Frustration at the home, frustration with the people that you live with, challenging this empowerment that you want to have for yourself. And perhaps you have a wife at home, perhaps you have children at home, and you want to start your own business, but you cannot do it because you have the responsibilities at home to take care of. So there is a frustration that comes up, and there could be contention between you and the people that you live with at home because of this. There could be contention between you and your mother coming in, where you say, again, same thing. I want to decide where I'm going, when I'm going, how I want to do it, and so forth. Power and control for yourself. And you have someone at home saying to you, no, you're going to do what I say do because you live under my roof. It could come in like that for you, Capricorn. Then for our Aquarius people, we have Pluto in your 12th house, and we have Mars in your 3rd house. So with Mars in your 3rd house, there is frustration with your communication, and what it is, there is a transformation that is happening for you spiritually. What it is that you see spirituality as, and how you communicate with other people, is being challenged, is being frustrated, is being transformed. And there is contention and frustration as it relates to perhaps people telling you what spirituality should be, what spirituality should look like. And the transformation that is happening for you behind the scenes does not want someone in your group, your cousins, your siblings, the neighborhood in which you grew up, to dictate to you what spirituality is. This is the way it could show up. Another way that it could show up is that there is a frustration in you traveling, short distance travel. You want to get in the car and you want to go where you need to go. But because Pluto is making this square with Mars, there is a fear of traveling that could just show up. A fear of short distance travel, a fear of getting into an accident. Mars in the third house, you have to be cautious. With Mars in the third house making this square to Pluto. Cautious of accidents. Be really careful. Watch exactly where you are going and what you are doing, because there is this heat that is happening with other people. Pluto is the 12th house is hidden enemies. With Pluto there, people could be plotting against you. That sounds so negative, but with Pluto in your 12th house, people could secretly be trying to bring about your demise. That is something that happens with the 12th house. And it could be that it comes to light with all that's been happening with Uranus and Pluto and Jupiter. It could be coming to light who this is. People that you or have been around you. Even, like I said, cousins and siblings and so forth. And it comes to light that there has been some plot, some plan against you. And you find yourself frustrated and saying and doing things that could be detrimental at this time. So that's something that you definitely have to watch out for at this time. And then we have Pisces. So Pisces is Capricorn. Pluto is happening for you in the 11th house. And 11th house. And your Mars is going to be in your second house. Mars is in your second house. So for you, this has to do with your income. So there is transformation that is happening with the income that you bring in with Pluto in Capricorn. That which you thought was locked solid, stable, is transforming. But when Pluto transforms something, it comes out better in the end. It comes out as the butterfly ultimately, going through the transformation. But with this square to Mars from your 11th house is groups of people that you have been associating with that bring in this frustration as it relates to your income. So this could show up in such a way that you were working in the organization, like employed at the organization, and there is frustration going on. The money has changed because maybe, it was a nonprofit that you were working for, and then they were waiting on government funding to happen, and it didn't come because of what's going on. So there is frustration about the income that could be happening for you if you work for, work within a group. And there is frustration that could be happening with the money. It could be affecting your self-esteem and your self-worth. The frustration that is going on within the groups of people that you associate with. You could have thought you were going to receive accolades for work done, an award, a celebration with Mars there. And then you find out that you're not going to receive it. Nobody is saying anything. Somebody else received the accolades that you felt that you deserved and you felt that you had worked for. And so there is a blow to your self-esteem and your self-worth. Okay? So it could definitely show up for you like that, Pisces. I thank you so much for listening and watching this. And have a blessed day. A blessed week. Please like and subscribe and share. I appreciate you so much. Be blessed.